Intergalactic is still some time away. Sony bagged a bunch of nominations at the Game Awards, and PS3 Emulation on the PS5 is apparently feasible. Here are your stories of the last week in the world of PlayStation. Hello there everyone, it's Aiden here from Push Square, and yes, here we have your 10 big news stories of the last week of PlayStation, including the latest reviews to drop on pushsquare.com, discounts that have made their way to the PS Store, and 5 of the latest releases dropping in the next week. First off, I just want to quickly apologise about the lack of these videos recently. There's been a bunch of things that have really prevented me from this. I moved house, I had internet issues, I had a unexpected press trip, I then was on holiday for a week, so yeah. But we're here now, so let's just get into it. So the Game Award nominations were announced last week, and Sony was the most nominated publisher at the event, with 19 nominations. That's thanks to games like Death Stranding 2 and Ghost of Yotei, although the big winner of the nominations at least was a non-Sony game, Clear Obscure Expedition 33, which bagged 12 nominations including Game of the Year, and this game is currently the frontrunner to win Game of the Year. Death Stranding 2 was also nominated for Game of the Year, but Ghost of Yotei actually missed out. But it was nominated for 7 other categories, including Best Narrative. The Game Awards will stream on December 11th, so be sure to check that one out. Sony is estimated to have made $1.5 billion in revenue on Steam, thanks to its PC ports of PlayStation exclusives. That's according to Alinea Analytics. Now, $1.5 billion does sound like a lot, but by comparison, the PlayStation division earned a whopping $7 billion in the last quarter alone, whereas this figure, the $1.5 billion, is across the last 5 years. According to the data, Helldivers 2 was by far the best-selling PlayStation game on Steam, followed by Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War. Naughty Dog's Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet won't be around till at least 2027. That's according to Bloomberg's journalist Jason Schreier. Now, there's been a bit of a spiral of word of mouth with this, where Colin Moriarty on the Sacred Hearts podcast mentioned that the game was content complete, kind of hinting that it could be out sooner, but Jason Schreier just quite simply stated that, "Can assure you that Intergalactic is not coming out in 2026, so there's still some time to wait then." Shift Up, the Korean developer, has begun recruiting for what seems to be the new Stellar Blade game. Stellar Blade was the PlayStation exclusive that launched in 2024 and became a bit of a fan favourite. The company's recruitment page has several sections alluding to a bunch of jobs with different projects, but up the top of that is Stellar Blade Next Work. So the company has said that it is aiming for 2027, so it'll likely be some time before we see anything more from the Stellar Blade franchise, but it's good to know that things are happening. The Horizon series has now managed to shift over 40 million units across just its 2 mainline entries and the PSVR 2 game. This updated figure comes off the back of the reveal of NCSoft's mobile-only Horizon MMO, Steel Frontiers. Now, we heard that the franchise had sold in excess of 38 million earlier this year during the whole Tencent Light of Mothrum legal proceedings, so that means that this extra 2 million has come just in the last few months. This really is a powerhouse of a series. The Finals PS4 support will end in early 2026. The Finals is the first game from Embark Studios, the team behind the now popular Ark Raiders. It's a first-person PvP game, it's very fast-paced, and it features some cutting-edge destruction tech. The PS4 version actually just launched last December, a year after the initial game launched on PS5, but Embark has already said that it's becoming increasingly difficult to maintain and optimize PS4 support without limiting features and game modes. PS4 support will end with the launch of Season 10, that's March 18th, 2026, and for those that have been playing on PS4, your profile will carry over to PS5. The last PSVR 2 games currently available via PS Plus Premium are about to leave the service. Back in June of 2024, Sony started including a bunch of PSVR 2 games to the highest tier of their subscription model, starting with 6 and more games being added down the line. But steadily those games have been removed from the service, and now the last 2, Arcade Paradise VR and Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition, will expire on the 16th of December. So unless Sony announces new games to be included with Premium, this will be the end of the PSVR 2 support on PS Plus Premium. Another bit from Jason Schreier, this time claiming that a lot of the first-party Xbox studios are thrilled to have their games launching on the PS5, but this may be more of a numbers thing than anything else. You see, most of the Xbox games, or all of the Xbox games, are launching on Game Pass, which means not a lot of people on Xbox are actually buying their games, which can complicate the maths for these several studios. Now that the games are launching on PS5, it's introducing a whole new potential revenue stream, and we've seen great success from it with games like Gears of War, or even more specifically, Forza Horizon 5 becoming the best sellers of this year. I reckon this will only continue when we've got the Halo remake, for example, coming to PlayStation 5 next year. Valve is kind of entering the console space with the Steam machine, but Valve isn't going to subsidize the cost in any way, meaning that this thing is expected to cost more than the PS5 Pro. In an interview with SkillUp, Valve developer Pierre-Louis Griffet stated that it's more in line with what you can expect from the current PC market. Now that's still a fairly vague comment to make, but hopefully Valve announces a proper price soon. I've saved potentially the best for last here. Bill Litzhauer, the boss at Implicit Conversions, the studio behind emulating PS1 and 2 games for PS Plus Premium, says that the team is quietly working on a PS3 emulator. It's been a bugbear for the PS community, where the PlayStation 3 games are not able to be played natively on PS4 or 5, relying entirely on cloud streaming. But Litzhauer revealed while speaking with Mystic that he believes it's feasible to get PS3 games emulated on the PS5 and definitely on the PS6. However, he says that improving support for PS2 games is still the company's priority, so it's really a case of when or if they're able to devote the time, energy, and resources. I think a lot of us would really like it if they made this their big priority. So those are your 10 big stories of the week, but we aren't quite done yet. We've still got plenty to cover, starting with a quick reminder that the Black Friday sales are currently running across PlayStation, including hundreds of games and then hardware like the DualSense controller or the PS Portal, and even PS Plus subscriptions, although you can't be subscribed, which is a bit rubbish. There's a bunch of discounts out here, too many to really name specifically, so go onto the PlayStation Store, both the website as well, to see if there's any controllers that you would like to get, but that's running right now. Here's a look at the latest reviews to drop on pushsquare.com. SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide got a 7 out of 10 from Stephen Tailby, calling it a decent but not quite ship-shape platformer. Neon Inferno got a 6 out of 10 from Jamie Ditchfield, who said it was a gorgeous but sometimes frustrating game. Black Ops 7 also got a 6 out of 10 from Liam Croft, calling it the most absurd game in the series history. R-Type Delta HD Boosted got the highest score of the week with an 8 out of 10 from Graham Banas, calling it a PS1 glow-up that still has the sauce. Now let's look to the 5 biggest releases of the next week on PlayStation. You have Pulls dropping on PS5 and PSVR 2. This is that eerie experience thing with, it's just kind of weird, but it's dropping on November 25th. Kill It With Fire 2 launches on the PS4 and 5 on November 25th. The Last Case of John Morley on PS5, November 27th. Street Racer Collection on PS4 and 5, November 27th. And Made of Scare VR on the PSVR 2, November 30th. That's it for this week then. I really appreciate you checking out the video, and if you would like to see more weekly news videos like this, then be sure to like the video, comment below your favorite story, and if you're not already, subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content just like this. Anyway, that's it from me today, so until next time, I've been Aaron, and this has been Push Square.